Good morning, grade 1 students. How are you all doing today? Fine? I hope you all are fine, right? I hope you all are ready to study in the morning. No one is feeling sleepy, right? No one is feeling sleepy? Wow, that's great. You shouldn't be sleepy in the morning, right? You should be fresh, ready for your class, ready to study, right? Because now these days, your school is very, very important, right? You have to study you because this is, as I have told you last week, after this you will have reinforcement, and then after reinforcement you will be having your final exams, right? You'll be having your final exams after this whole week, right? So this is very important for you to pay attention to whatever we are doing in the class, to revise whatever we are doing in the class once the class is over. Are you all ready for that, my children? That's great. And today, as you all know, today is the fourth day of your class. And after fourth day, what happens? It's the fifth day. And on fifth day, what do we people do? Yes, you revise everything. You have a class test of whatever we have studied throughout this week. So that is very important for you to pay attention. Are you all ready? Now today is the last topic that we are going to cover in this whole term, right? In first term we have covered. Now second term is today is the last topic of second term of our syllabus. We will cover everything and next week we will revise everything that we have covered up till now, right? Now what is today's topic? Today's topic, as you can see on my board, is already written. It's sequencing. Now what is sequencing? That is putting everything in order. Now for that, let's watch a video. And again, this is our Edwell video. It's made by our school people, so you can easily watch it later on also. Once the class is over, you can see, you can watch this video and you can recap everything and you can understand everything in detail. Are you all ready for that? Okay, let's watch the video. There you go. 1, 2, and 3. Can you all see my screen, class? That's great. There you go.
Sequencing. The two kinds of sequencing. One is number sequencing, which goes like a 1, a 2, a 3, and it goes on like that. And then there's alphabetical sequencing. A, B, C, D, E, F, and stop. Stop right there. This is how sequencing works. Let's learn more.
Alright. So you have seen the video, how they have explained that what is sequencing. It is everything should be in order. Everything that you are doing should be in an order. Like they have explained about number sequencing, like, after 1, what comes? 2. In the same way, they have shown you alphabet sequencing. Alphabetical sequencing is the same way, like after A, B, C, D. So this is everything comes in an order. You understand? Now, what do you people do in the morning? Yes, you wake up, you go to the washroom, you wash your face, you brush your teeth, then you wash your face. Once you are clear, then you will come out, you will change your clothes, you will have your breakfast, and then you will be ready for your class. This is how you do. It is not like that you have your breakfast first and then wash your face. Everything goes in an order. Everything goes in an order. In the same way, like we have sequencing of stories. Everything comes in a story. The events of the story should be in an order. Otherwise, what happens? The reader would be confused. Like what happened first? Yes? Okay, now let's watch a presentation on sequencing and it's going to make it more clear to you. Okay? All right. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Can you see my screen, class? Okay. Now it tells you what is sequencing. Sequencing or putting events in order. Now see what comes first. Of course, one comes first, as you have seen. What comes first? Breakfast comes first or lunch comes first? Yes, of course, breakfast comes first. Then a caterpillar comes first or a butterfly comes first? A caterpillar comes first, correct. Doing the dishes comes first or eating comes first? Eating comes first, then you do the dishes. Getting in the shower come first or putting your clothes come first? Getting in the shower comes first and then you put on your clothes. Two comes first or one? One comes first. Very good. In the same way, an adult comes first or a baby comes first? A baby comes first. Good job, class. So this means everything goes in an order. In the same way, in the story, these events need to be in an order. Otherwise, you will be confused that, my God, what happened first? We don't know what happens first, what happened first in the story. Yes. Now, what was the name of your story that you were doing? It was Christopher's Bicycle. Now, if the story starts like that, Christopher went and he got some stuff from the market and then he recycled it. How do you know what happened first? Whose bicycle was that? When did he get that bicycle? Like things like that comes in your mind, isn't it so? In the same way, where else sequencing helps you? Have you seen someone which is using sequencing and it is very important? Without sequencing, it cannot happen. Have you seen your mom's cooking in the kitchen? Yes. What does she do? She follows a proper sequence. She follows a proper recipe which goes in an order. Isn't it so? Yes, she puts everything in an order, in a sequence, that this thing she needs to add first, she needs to add the salt first or spices first, then she needs to put oil, things like that. Isn't it so? Yes, now I'm going to tell you one thing, that there are few words which are very, very important and which we use in sequencing. And what those words are, as you can see, it's written first, next, and then last. These are the words that you use in sequencing. That first, you go to the market to buy the grocery. Then next, you cut the vegetables. Then you put it in the cooker or whatever. And lastly, you do this. So these are very important vocabulary that you need to use while you are doing sequencing. And what that vocabulary is, class? First, next, then, and last, right? So these are the words that tells you that what happens first, what happens next, what happens then, and what happens in the last. They help a lot when you are writing the recipe, when you are using the recipe. You understand? Now suppose if I make a cake, if I'm making a cake, so how do you use that? You see, you are going to use the vocabulary like this. First, I put the flour, sugar, batter, and eggs. First, I did that. Next, I whisk all the ingredients together and put the batter in a pan. I mix all the ingredients or whisk the ingredients together and put the batter in the pan. This is when I did. Next, Then I put it in the oven to bake for 30 minutes. Last, I decorate the cake with frosting. Now this is a recipe of making cake. I have used the vocabulary first, next, then and last. But children, it is not only that you can only use these vocabularies. Now these words, they can be used in a different form. Like for first, you can use the word to begin, in the beginning, it all began, then to start with, and one day. These words are, you can also use these words. Okay, like to begin, in the beginning, it all began, to start with, or one day. Like in the story also, you can say one day I was going to the market, things like that. So you can use this also. Next, for next, you can also use, just a minute class. For next, you can also use secondly, afterwards, after a while, later that day, and suddenly. For next, you can also use suddenly, afterwards, after a while, later that day, and suddenly. This you can use for next. In the same way, for then, you can use these words also. Like also, additionally, all of a sudden, and the next day. Do you understand? Also, additionally, all of a sudden, the next day. And for last, you can also use at last, finally, eventually, and in conclusion. At last, finally, eventually, and in conclusion. So these are the words that you may use instead of these words. Now, like I have shown you my recipe, now with different words, I can also use in the other form. Like the before I use first, next, and then. Now here I have used in the beginning, I put the flour, sugar, butter, and eggs. Afterwards, I whisk all the ingredients together and put the batter in a pan. Then I put it in the oven to bake for 30 minutes. And for instead of last what I have used, finally I decorate the cake with frosting. So you can see that how differently these words are used. We can also use these words first, then, or we can use these additional words which means the same. Do you understand my point, class? Yes. So this is what sequencing is. Sequencing means putting everything in an order. It is very helpful when you are writing a recipe, when you are reading a recipe, or it's also helpful for story. In story also, sequencing plays a very, very important part. Now, what I want you all to do is you write down these words in your notebook first, and then you will also write down this vocabulary first, then, and next in the notebook. You are all ready for that? Your time starts. I'm giving you 12 minutes. Your time starts now. Time is up. Okay. Show me your work. Great. So it means that what is sequencing, children? Putting things in order, putting events in order. And when does sequencing helps you? It's very important in a story because the events needs to be in an order, otherwise the reader would be confused. It also helps you in writing a recipe or reading a recipe. Everywhere sequencing helps you. Everything needs to be in an order. It doesn't mean that in everyday life, it doesn't mean that you are going to do different things in a random order. Everything goes in an order. Like I've already explained you that first you have your breakfast, then you have your lunch, then you have your dinner. It is not like you will have dinner first, then lunch. It is not like that. In the same way, what do you do when you wake up in the morning? You follow a proper procedure. You follow a proper sequence, right? So I hope this is clear to you all, and you will also revise your work. You will study, you will revise whatever we have done up till now to be prepared for your final exams. Yes, class? Okay, now see you later. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a nice day.